Hey, everybody, it's Tyler Skinner here with Women Making Waves. I have the distinguished honor today, and I do say honor, of talking with Evelyn LaChapelle of Last Prisoner Project and 87 Months. She has her own business, and we are so excited to have her be a part of the Women Making Waves family and our community. And we are supporting Last Prisoner Project and their efforts to help those that have been incarcerated for cannabis infractions in the past get out, get reformed, get a new life, get a new start. As the cannabis industry, we all know, is legalized in many states, not everywhere, but definitely here in California. That is something that we want to highlight and talk about. And having Evelyn and her team be a part of our event coming up on 5/20 next week, we are so excited to have you, Evelyn, today. We want to talk about, she's also the founder and CEO of 87 Months. I did mention that. It's your business. And you are the program associate and the community outreach coordinator and many, many other things for Last Prisoner Project. And so I just want to talk to you, Evelyn, a little bit today. I wanted our audience and our attendees to get to know you, first and foremost, you and your story, because it is super compelling and heartwarming. And just knowing that you've turned something around, I think that is the hugest thing. And facing so much adversity and what you've gone through with personal resiliency, we can touch on many, many things with that. But I just want to know kind of where you come from, what it's all about, and what got you to LPP in the first place.
Absolutely. The word resilience always sticks out to me. It's because you don't realize you're strong until you have to be, you don't realize that you're resilient until you have to be. And so that is where I've landed in having to be those things. And so I landed at Last Prisoner Project after serving an 87-month sentence for depositing cannabis profits into my bank account, and that devastated my life, my daughters, my family lives. I mean, the reach of devastation is just so far reaching that at Last Prisoner Project, in my own personal life and in the lives of other constituents that I've had to come into contact with, the damage that needs to be repaired, that we are hoping to assist in repairing, is so far fetching that we're starting with the release of the 40,000 folks who are still in custody, still serving time, while cannabis has been deemed essential during a global pandemic. So it's just like crazy to me. But I landed there after serving my sentence, coming home, returning to the hospitality industry, and then being fired after someone Googled my name and took it to human resources. And so after that happened, I realized that I have a journey, I have a voice, and that with my appearance, with my resume, with my education, if I was experiencing these obstacles in reentry, my counterparts, my peers, the men especially who are coming home, are experiencing these obstacles tenfold, 20-fold, 30-fold. And so it was shortly after my experience of getting fired for the first time in my life that I linked up with Last Prisoner Project and really just became the voice and the face behind the mission. And it's been a great mission, and we continue to push forward for clemency and for reentry.
I think the work that you're doing is incredible. I'm happy to hear that some of the ladies on our panel actually already know of you. They know about you. So kudos to you and the organization for really getting out there and amplifying your message in a way that we've talked about this a little bit, in a way that's in your face enough that people are paying attention and they're hearing you and they're seeing you. I think that was something you've brought up in past conversations that we've had here at Women Making Waves. We don't shy away from a lot of topics, and we really want to touch on those that are marginalized or being forgotten or not talked about, because this is the flip side to the cannabis industry. That I think that as much as we're highlighting these amazing women blazing trails, pun intended, in the industry, we also want to talk about women like you, and women and men, but women like you in this, in that equation, who have served time
Mhm.
literally for something similar. And so we want to make sure that we're highlighting that and talking about you and giving you a voice on this platform as well.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for that, because there's so many ways to get involved, right? In any cause, there's ways to get involved, but we are in a society, or we're a place in the world now where if you're not going viral, nothing is getting done. And so really amplifying the voice of the voiceless. The incarcerated population is, I think, the most unheard, unseen population in this country. Most of us can't pinpoint where the local prison is, but I can guarantee you there is one, right? Um, Communication and purposely done, communication for inmates is cut down. We got 300 minutes a month to call home. Your snail mail takes what normally would take 3 days is taking 5 days. And so all of these ways that the system has decided to cut you off from society, they have succeeded. And so while we have a low number, right? Like this 40,000 number is a low number, but while we've confirmed 40,000 inmates are still incarcerated for this plant, the work that you're doing, the work that Last Prisoner Project is doing, is really to amplify those voices, give those people a face and a story to share.
Yeah, storytelling is of utmost importance right now, I think more than ever. I've had many friends in the industry tell me that, we have enough great marketing. We need more storytelling. We need great storytellers to be able to really, like you said, humanize what's
Right.
going on in our world and in our society. So this is part of that. And I'm really happy to be kind of just a small piece, if you will, of being able to help you do that and support the work that you're doing and Last Prisoner Project. I'm really fascinated too, and want to touch on a little bit your story though, because I know with you particularly, serving that amount of time and not having it be your first offense, first of all. And then I think in your story, it also mentions you weren't identified as a repeat offender. You didn't kill anybody, you didn't hurt anybody. So what really is the thing that you believe behind some of these sentences that seem so um just long, really, really harsh sentences, in my opinion?
It's definitely Black and brown issue. It is definitely systematic racism at play. And the history on that in general is that when this country decided to criminalize cannabis, marijuana, or weed, whatever we're calling it, it was a direct attack on Black and brown population. And it's continued. And the saddest part about it, though, is that as cannabis has now become legalized, it's been rebranded, like in the most basic sense, right? Cannabis has been rebranded, medicinal, wellness, yoga, and they've given it a new name. And that is how this country or this legal system can justify legalizing cannabis while criminalizing marijuana. And when you get a charge, it absolutely says marijuana. So that was definitely at play. And as much as I didn't think it was going in, because going in, I am absolutely a Black woman, but I differentiated myself with, but I have an education from Loyola Marymount. I have a resume in hospitality. I have a child. I'm married. Like, I don't fit the description of how you would categorize my peers. And that didn't save me. And that was the shocker for me. And I don't think I've ever said that before, but that really shocked me. And it removed that immunity from what I thought the status brings a person. And I got 87 months. My co-defendant Natalia Wade got 87 months, and Corvette Cooper got life. And that's in 2013. So we're not talking about 1985, 1997, in the height of the war on drugs, and this was, just a direct consequence of the war on drugs. No, this is 2013, where California to some point had already legalized it, and I think 12 other states at the time. So even during that, where the attitudes are changing around cannabis, a judge would still decide to give out that much time. And Parker Coleman, another co-defendant who I'm just learning about, but he received 60 years for this.
That's
And
life. I mean, that's a life. That's a
life.
life.
And he was 19.
Taken from you. Yeah.
That's life for a 19-year-old. And he's already served 10. And it's like how you and I were, we're speaking. Imagine having a 10-year-old, right? Like, to see life grow that fast,
Mhm.
you know, puts into perspective what 10 years is like sitting in prison, and to have another 50 of those years ahead of you while the industry is booming and blooming and no signs of it slowing down is extremely disheartening.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's what was shocking to us, just hearing that for the first time for me personally, just hearing the amount of time that's handed out for these things that I deem, pretty, in my personal opinion. This is again my personal opinion, but just being something that seems minor in a sense for what you're given. It does, like, the punishment doesn't fit the crime kind of thing. And so I'm just curious. I mean, now that you're seeing this, I want to touch on Last Prisoner Project a little bit and the work that you all do so that our audience can understand, like, maybe give a list of like the top things, and we'll talk about a time to heal because I know you want to discuss that a little bit too, and just sort of the touch on the main things that you're doing to really help those that are, you served your time, you're out, you're here with
Right.
us, but there's many that are still not, as you pointed out. I think you said 40,000. So what do we do for those 40,000? Because part of our platform and Women Making Waves is amplifying voices, but also calls to action. So what
Right.
is Last Prisoner Project about, and what can we do to be a part of that?
Well, number one call to action, I tell everyone it is free to hit the share button, right? So when you come to our socials, we have constituent cards with folks who are currently incarcerated and just sharing their name, sharing their story. That really helps. And because you just never know who sees that when it opens. But continuously throughout the year, we have letter writing campaigns so that those who are still incarcerated, you can go to our website, find a name and an address. A simple note goes a long way. Hey, we're thinking about you out here. Mail call in prison is, it separates the important from the non-important. And so those letters are literally worth gold sometimes in a place that dark. And then we are also working on, so LPP is sort of split in two, but not split in the terms of resources or time, or split in, we are concerned about those who are incarcerated and now also concerned about those who are home. So we have clemency and reentry, and financially anyone can support those efforts. And then our main call to action right now, and the petitions are on the website, lastprisonerproject.org, is this time to heal. And we are asking the administration really reconsider how they currently do clemencies on a federal level, because I just do not care what president is sitting in the White House. I think it's a lot to ask the president of the United States to be concerned and focused on signing a clemency petition individually, right? Like, they're running a country, and a country that's in shambles. I think it's a big ask for them to say, okay, now can you sit down and look at this petition and look, you like, so if we can do that on a broader scale, because currently how it happens, a president on his way out of the door, so whether that's 4 years or 8 years, they will sit down and sign some clemencies. And so we could in anyhow contribute to changing that, that is what we're focused on right now during this administration. So that petition is also online to be signed.
So that's at lastprisonerproject.org. And we will absolutely be sharing that on our platforms and feeds and on all the social media so people can understand ways they can just take action and be a part of that if that's something they're called to do. And I think that I want to thank you, Evelyn, so much for, serving your time first and foremost, however that played out. I just think that for you to actually go through that experience, I can't even imagine what that's like, and being pulled from my children, pulled away. I'm freezing up again. But anyway, I wanted to thank you for sharing your story with us and for being so brave and courageous and turning it around into your current business, which we want to touch on a little bit too. Your 87 months, which we love the name, obviously. I mean, talk about lemons into lemonade. That's like beyond taking something most people would just crumble. There's a lot of people that could not handle that, and they wouldn't be able to face it and to be able to live
Right.
beyond that. And I feel like what you've done is incredible. And so talk to us a little bit about that, about your business, 87
It
months.
is absolutely the lemons to lemonades. My like slogan that I'm repeating in my head is, prison did not break me, it built me. and not in the physical, not in the physical strength, because I definitely just crocheted the whole time. But what I was ashamed, those 87 months carried shame, guilt, as you know, being a mother, a daughter, burden for so many people in my family who had to carry my weight and my responsibilities. Those 87 months really represented a dark, negative time in my life. And then once I got fired from that hotel, it was sort of like a rebirthing. And it's what, you know, and if anyone knows scripture, it's like what the enemy intended to harm you, God will use to restore you. And that I carried that. And I've been home for 2 years, but it's like, no, I will really use this 87 months to restore that guilt, that shame, that responsibility and the burdens, and create some generational wealth, and take what was taken from me. So it is definitely a lemon to lemonade. And I am starting with cannabis essentials. So my grinder, my combs, my pre-roll tube, my trays, because I'm an accessories person. And so I also encourage people who want to get in the industry, do what you love. Like you don't have to sell cannabis. You don't have to be in a dispensary, because that's retail work. That might not be what you love, right? And so find your space. And I've always been in college. I was all the gadgets, and I've always been into accessories. Rose gold is my color right now. So it'll be an entire line of rose gold accessories. And I'm just hoping that when folks consume, are preparing to consume with my accessories, that they're thinking about those who are incarcerated. 5% of all profits and fundraising will go to WPA, which is Women's Prison Association, because they are concerned about women in prison in general, and that's dear to my heart. And I want my business and my products to encourage a lane and a space for those of us who were incarcerated in this industry.
Absolutely. That's incredible. I'm telling you, lemons to lemonade doesn't even cut it as far as what you've got going on. But I will say we are all about that. We're all about being here to amplify the Last Prisoner Project message, your business and what you're doing, because you are creating something so amazing. You're so inspiring to so many. And we are so appreciative for you to be a part of our team and our community. And we welcome you with open arms. And thank you so much. We can't wait to talk to you more and hear more about this at our event on 5/20, which is coming up next week at 5:30 p.m. So grab your tickets, everybody, because $5 from your ticket goes to Last Prisoner Project. So we want to encourage that as well. So please be there for Evelyn and her team, support that. And thank you for reminding us that there are people out there that still need to be heard and seen. And there are things that we're not paying attention to sometimes. And we don't know what we don't know. So we
Right.
absolutely appreciate your time. We appreciate your inspiration and what you offer to us in this platform. So thank you, Evelyn, so much.
Thank you so much.